Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to share 10 common mistakes that people make while buying land in Kenya. So if you're new here, my name is Ruth Tanui. I'm an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I'm also the founder and managing partner of Ruth Tanui and Company Advocates. The first common mistake that people make is buying land that is under succession. If you are in the process of looking to buy land, and the moment you know that land is under succession, please do not proceed to buy that land unless succession is done. By succession being done is confirmed that there is a confirmation of grant, and at least so ensure that. And remember, that's not also the last stage. After the confirmation of grant, the transmission, the administrators have to transfer the title under their names. Then now it's transferred to the beneficiaries. So avoid purchasing land that is under succession. The second common mistake that people normally make is paying the booking fee before they conduct a search or do their due diligence. These are normally a very common mistake that people make. Especially if you're buying from a real estate company, you find they normally tell you booking fee, I think sometimes it's 10,000, 20,000. I normally tell people, it's very risky because they tell you that this land is a hot cake. If you don't purchase it, like if you don't book it, we'll give it to someone else. It's not worth it. Like me, I already even feel sometimes that can be a very big red flag. Anyone who is genuinely selling land should be able to give you a timeline for doing your due diligence, like a week. Let them give you a week to do a due diligence. Because for instance, if you pay booking fee, and most of the time at this time, even you've not been given a title, some even tell you before you give you the title, you have to pay the booking fee. So what if after paying the booking fee, there's no title deed on the property? What happens? Or maybe you get a title and it's not under the name of, maybe let's say the real estate company or the person who's selling it to you. So never make a mistake of paying the booking fee or signing a booking form, committing yourself before you actually do your own due diligence. The other common mistake that people normally make is purchasing land based on trust instead of getting a lawyer to draft them a sale agreement that protects them. This is normally a very big mistake. Because remember, I normally tell people the sale agreement is a very important document. Because remember that's the first document you'll get before even you get the title. The sale agreement will confirm that you've entered into an agreement with the owner of the land. The person is supposed to sell you the land. So even in case any issue arises that you need to protect your rights, at least even if you go to court, you can confirm that I'm the one, I purchased this property. This was the value we agreed. It's going to be 2 million. I paid a deposit of the deposit of X amount, and you can even protect yourself. So ensure that you never purchase land based on trust. It doesn't matter who you are purchasing from. Any mental point comes to land, it's just a caution for yourself. Ensure that, and make sure, and apart from drafting the sale, ensure the sale agreement is enforceable. Remember, it has to be a valid sale agreement, meaning it has to be signed by both the buyer and the seller, and that it has to be witnessed. So just make sure don't purchase land based on trust. The fourth common mistake that also people normally make is paying more than 10% of the deposit. There's a reason the law society condition of sale when it comes to buying land normally suggests 10%. Remember, when you're paying a deposit, most of the time, a lot of things have not been done. So ensure so that in case of anything, at least you're not going to lose a big portion of your money. So ensure for the deposit you're paying 10% for your own protection. Don't pay more than 10% when it comes to deposit. There are people who actually even pay the whole amount. There's no deposit for them. They pay like your deposit. That's why when you find even when they're drafting the sale agreement normally states that you have already paid the entire amount. That's very risky. Because remember, even the transfer is like you have not even, especially if it's a freehold, you have not gone to the land control board for it to get consent, and you need a consent from the land control board. And it's not like guaranteed, like what if that consent is not granted? Like, there are some things even it's beyond, like the title might have checked out everything. What about now when you're going to the land control board and maybe something doesn't check out in the process? So that's why it's very important to ensure that you're paying only 10% of the deposit. The other common mistake people normally do, especially when it comes to purchasing certificate of lease, is purchasing a leasehold that has a very few years remaining for the term. As most of for leasehold, the term is normally 99 years. So sometimes you find someone purchasing and normally the law requires when 5 years is remaining, you apply for renewal, and it's not automatic. Remember the lease, and remember it's not automatic. So you're supposed to renew the lease. So, and it's not on automatic. So it's normally so risky. Purchasing a leasehold that has less years, it's risky. So ensure you avoid that. Because let's say you purchase when 5 years is remaining, you are not even the origin, like you're buying it from someone else. And then you make or sometimes, even most people normally don't know you need to renew it or apply for an extension. Most people don't even normally know that requirement. So you find for you just purchase land, you feel that you have done everything, you just stay, then you come to realize the land reverted back to the government. So avoid purchasing leasehold properties that has less years. The other common mistake people normally make is normally making cash payments or making payments without receipts. I normally advise when purchasing land, you're not buying shoes or a handbag. This is something you're investing. It's an asset that it's not like si pesa kidogo. Like it's not like a few shillings. So ensure that you do a bank transfer. The best is normally a bank transfer. And you transfer the money from your account and make sure that bank transfer. I normally ensure even in the sale agreement, it's written, the seller will tell us where the money is supposed to be deposited. So that's why on the part of payment, on the clause of payments, we normally ensure we have put even the bank that it's supposed to be transferred to. So for instance, if the seller has a bank at KCB Bank, we normally put KCB on the account. So that means even when my client is verifying that they have made payment, they even have the account that was supposed to be sent to. So it becomes easy to confirm that you actually made payment. Remember, if anything happens, I normally tell people, the best thing that can happen, maybe if you purchase and maybe an issue comes in, the best thing that court can do for you is refund your money. So at least make sure. So if, for instance, you paid cash, you don't have proof of payment, it becomes difficult for you. So you find you have lost the land and you've also lost your money. So ensure that you keep receipts of payment. The best is bank transfer. I normally advise bank transfer is the best, and make sure you're paying to the bank that has been stated in the sale agreement. The other big common mistake that people normally do is purchasing land without a title deed. Like that's even how do you know that the person that who's selling to you has the legal authority to sell you that land? It doesn't matter how good the reason behind it is, it's still a very big risk. So the moment the land doesn't have a title deed, my advice is normally just proceed, look for another. If you set aside money to purchase that land, just look for another property. The land is vast in Kenya. So you normally find someone be like, I really want that property. No, just ensure the moment you find the land doesn't have a title deed, please just move ahead. The other common mistake people normally do is purchasing land that is not vacant. Ensure that when you're purchasing land, when you do that land visit and you find it has even coffee plantation, make sure you don't risk it. Don't risk it. Ensure you tell the seller you want, by the time you're purchasing this land, it's vacant. Like nothing, no plantation is on the property, no structure. I normally tell this story of my client wanted to purchase land in Meru. And then the land, everything checked out, the due diligence, everything. But now when she went to look at the land, there was some old man who was staying in that property in some temporary structure, nyumba ya mabati, and the seller was telling her, don't worry, this person, after you pay us, this person, we are going to just pay them some little money, and they will go. That was and I told my client, no. That's already a big risk. The fact that you don't know how long that person has stayed there. And by the after, my client even called me to thank me because she told me that she realized that person had stayed there for over 40 years. So that means that person can claim adverse possession. And the seller, I think, is a person who has been living in the country for a long time, out of the country. So that person can easily win a case of adverse possession. So never purchase a property that is not vacant. Ensure, even if everything else has checked out, ensure the property is vacant. So another common mistake people normally make is buying land next to roads, national parks. So ensure that when you're buying land, the moment you see that land, because those are things you can see for yourself. You can see this is a road. You can see this is a national park. don't, the moment you see that, it's very risky to purchase property that is next, or even next to, when you're purchasing, even when you're purchasing land next to an airport. So I normally tell, or a railway line. So ensure or the best, or maybe the least you can do is confirm if, for instance, it's next to like, let's say, a national park. Confirm from the trustees of the wildlife to confirm that if that land is safe for you to purchase, you make sure it has not encroached into the wildlife, into the national park. But me, I normally feel it's just a big risk. Apart from, even, even we hear stories in the news, you find elephants just got out, lions. So it's best to avoid most of the time, unless it's necessary. But avoid purchasing land that is next to public parks, national parks, like airports, railway lines. It's a very big risk, because you never know. Because, or even sometimes when it's a public road, even though they tell you it hasn't gotten, sometimes the roads needs to be expanded. Though you're normally compensated, but sometimes you want to purchase land for the long run. So you would not want to get to a point where now you start now having to, even though they compensate you, having to go and look for land somewhere else, and you've already settled there for a while. So that's another mistake I normally see people normally make. Mistake people normally do is paying the entire purchase price upfront. Avoid that. Never, like, there's a reason why the 10%, as I've stated, there's a reason why the 10% deposit has been recommended. Never pay the whole purchase price upfront. There are some things that are beyond even the seller. It's a freehold. Getting consent from the Land Control Board, that's something that's beyond the seller. If the control board doesn't give the consent, now you see, so it's always a risk. Never pay the whole purchase price upfront. And then, of course, ensure you do your due diligence. Ensure before you purchase any property, you've done a search on that property. You've gone to the land registry, done a search, and everything has checked out. The person selling to you is the one that is registered at the land registry, it appears in the green card. So it's very important. And for instance, for me, when I'm doing due diligence for my clients, I normally go to the extent, if it's an individual, we normally do the search on the ID just to verify this is actually the person who's selling you the land. If it's a company, we go to the extent of doing the search on the company. We also normally go to the extent of making sure we check at the court where the land is situated. Let's say if the land is in Kajiado, we go to Kajiado ELC, Environment and Land Court, to confirm that this suit doesn't have a case in court. So ensure, and these are things, if maybe you yourself, you not think of even doing it yourself. And also for us, when you work with us, we normally also ensure we must involve a surveyor. And then for even, especially if you're purchasing from land where you're not familiar with, you also involve the services of a valuer to ensure the land has not been overpriced for you, especially if you're buying for, commercial purposes, you intend to sell it. It wouldn't make sense if the value of the land in that area is a maximum of 1 million and someone has sold it to you at 1.2. And then when you want to resell it, you sell at a loss. So I hope those are the common mistakes people normally make. I hope this video has been helpful. So if you're interested to get our services, I'm going to put the contacts here on the screen. So for those who will be interested, there's this book, Simplify Legal Process of Buying Land, which basically is to assist you not to be conned. I've shared the mistakes people make, the legal process of buying land, professionals to deal with, and many other things. If you're interested, just call the number here on the screen. I'll also leave the link whereby you can you can click on to get the book on the description box. Thank you.